On child sexual exploitation, anything we can do to crack down on it, we should do. I worked on this for 5 years when I was Director of Public Prosecutions between 2008 and 2013 and saw too many of these cases, including I was the Director of Public Prosecutions that gave the green light to prosecute the Rochdale grooming case, which was the first of the sort of multi-defendant group grooming cases involving Pakistani men. And so anything we can do to crack down on these cases, I'm in favour of us doing. But I have to say just 2 or 3 things, Nick, if I may.
Sure.
Firstly, on this question of mandatory reporting, the duty to report, particularly if you're in a position where you see something going on, I called for that in 2013. 2013, that is 10 years ago, and this government's been in power now for 13 years. That is a decade lost, and I think the Prime Minister and others have to really explain why they've wasted that decade. The second thing is that it is right that ethnicity should not be a bar and political correctness should not get in the way of prosecutions. And I heard your discussion earlier on. There are examples which went wrong in the past, and we have to deal with that. But the vast majority of sexual abuse cases do not involve those of ethnic minorities. And so I'm all for clamping down on any kind of case. But if we're going to be serious, we've got to be honest about what the overlook is. And just one last thing, Nick, because it was really instructive for me. When my team in the Northwest came down to London to see me in Crown Prosecution Service headquarters, when they wanted the green light to prosecute the Rochdale grooming case, which was the first of these big grooming cases. And I looked at the file with them and I heard what they had to say, and I said, yes, we should go ahead with this prosecution. I think it was 12 or 13 Pakistani men in that case. But it came to my attention that one of the men that we were seeking to prosecute had previously been arrested and not charged a number of years before. So I said, yes, you can have permission to green light for this Rochdale grooming case, but I want to understand why this man wasn't prosecuted before. And then I looked at the file. I got them to pull out the file for me. I looked at the file, and what I found there was something which concerned me, because what I found was good faith police officers, good faith prosecutors who made assumptions about, in that particular case, quite young girls, 13, 14, 15-year-old girls, if you recall. And the police and prosecutors had, in good faith, assumed that because these girls hadn't reported what was happening to them straight away to the police, because they'd gone back to the perpetrators in these grooming gangs, and because they themselves were involved in drinking and other related offences, that they would not be believed by a jury, therefore their case couldn't go forward. And so at the heart of that Rochdale case, I found a massive flaw in our criminal justice system, which was these assumptions about, teenage girls and what they were likely to do. And frankly, the likelihood of a teenage girl going straight to the police, I thought, was pretty low. So we set about changing the approach. It was really from that case onwards that we changed the approach. So I'm all, in terms of getting back to your question, if anything that can be done to bear down on child sexual exploitation, I'm up for that, but it needs an honest and robust discussion about what the real problems are underpinning this. And they've been there for a very, very long time. And, 13 years in power, and the government is sort of stumbling on some of the issues that, in my view, they should have confronted at least a decade ago.